See these numbers on the left? Each step of the chart is an, wait for it, order of magnitude increase. Each step is 10 times greater than the previous step. 10,000, 100,000, a million, etc. In 1977, the year Star Wars was released and my life was changed forever. The Apple II sold a couple of thousand units. The TRS-80, remember those, shipped 100,000 units. In 1984, the Apple Mac burst on the scene. The biggest seller, by the way, that year was the Commodore 64, with over 1 million sales. It took just 7 years not to double sales for personal computers, but the best seller was 10 times greater. 10 years later, it's a 3-horse race. The PC is selling over 10 million units a year by itself, the Mac over 1 million, and sniff, the Amiga was on its way out. In 2000, notice that PCs and Mac sales have stayed pretty consistent. The massive growth in personal computer sales since 1977 has stalled out. But then something strange happened. Boom! Wow! Where did they come from? Nokia had the first phones capable of accessing the internet using WAP. You probably didn't notice. Remember Crackberry? Email to your phone. Life was never the same. Nokia, Windows, RIM, Palm and the others in just 5 years started selling in the millions. Then, in 2007, the world changed forever with this.
An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone.
The iPhone smashed onto the scene and things would never be the same. By the end of the year, it was selling in numbers the mobile world had never seen. This was the start of the most disruptive change in venue we've ever seen. In 2007, I, and you, were making products that would be consumed in DVD players and on desktops. We designed our product for those venues. We didn't know it yet, but the way Joe and Jane Smith was going to buy and consume content was going to change forever. Let's look at this in an even more dramatic way. In 2007, the iPhone and the modern smartphone era began. Smartphones can access the internet, and most importantly, people can buy stuff on them. Let's go to 2010, just 3 years later. In 2010, something even more dramatic happened. Something that made the explosive growth of smartphones look like a snail race. We'll come back to that. Let's push that slider all the way to 2012. Just 4 years after the iPhone ushered in the smartphone era, smartphones smashed past desktop PC sales. An entirely new economy was born. But hang on, what's that tablet number doing? We know the iPhone kicked off a revolution and its sales in the first year were unlike anything the phone industry, let alone the PC industry, had ever seen. Well, have a look at this last chart. If you come away with one thing, if I can go all Paul Revere on you and get on my horse to warn you of the information technology equivalent that the British are on their way, it's shown on this chart. As of earlier this year, the iPad, at the equivalent time in its history, after just 3 years, is selling 3 times more than the iPhone at the same point. And it's accelerating. People are buying iPads in numbers that have been never before seen. Never. Nothing has exploded this much. Venue theory has caused a massive problem in our industry, in the information selling industry. To explain